Alright, so these are the parts you'll need to replace your inner and outer tie rod ends. Gloves, a torque wrench. This is an inner tie rod remover from Autozone. It has a 1/2 inch drive for ratchet wrenches, so you'll need to make sure that if your ratchet is 3/8, that you have an adapter that will allow you to plug into it. When you rent this from Oreilys, AutoZone, Napa parts, or even buy online, you'll need to make sure that you have a 40mm adapter to go into this thing. I needed a 22mm ratchet head and a 19mm ratchet head, a wrench, 6mm hex head, this thread lock stuff, zip ties in case the Europarats SD parts that you get in the kit, or whatever parts you have, don't work and don't have a good boot neck or metal strap to strap the boot. This will fill in for that. A breaker bar, again, look out for what type head it is. This is a 3/8 drive. Be conscious of your drive size so that you're aware of what adapter you need. I thought I'd show you the parts that we're replacing. We're replacing this outer tie rod end here and the inner tie rod end here. They attach like this. The Europarats SD kit will include this inner tie rod end, this outer tie rod end, this bolt that will go on the other end of it, this boot, and the clamps for each side of the boot. The kit I ordered was $125. It had two pairs of this set, allowing me to replace both sides of my tie rods. You'll find your jack kit here. Use a flathead to unscrew, and the parts should be stored right here. These are the essential parts of your jack. To get it ready, you'll adjust this valve here, which will make it so that when you pump up the jack, that it stays upright. And then we'll put together the parts of the jack like so. And this becomes a lever. And this is how it will be pumped up underneath the car. As you can see, it's risen a little bit. I'm going to put the jack underneath the OEM recommended location. You'd see this in your manual. It's right there. You can swivel this head so that it matches exactly where you want it to be on this. And now the work begins. We want this to be accessible and easy to find for when we release the pressure out of the pump. My jack's in place and supporting the weight of my car. I'm not on the most even ground. I'm on gravel. So I went ahead and put in an insurance policy. This should catch the car in case the jack gives out. I'm using a breaker bar to loosen them. Now that I've loosened them, I'm going to pump up my jack. This is my preferred technique because when I loosen the bolts, I imagine the weight of the car putting pressure on the wheel and thus the threads and ruining them. So I like to loosen them when the wheel is touching the ground. I will raise the car in the air once everything's loosened and then take the nuts out fully. I'll use a little cup to store all the parts. Take out this cotter pin. I spray this castle nut down with WD to make it easier to undo. Take your 22 and your breaker bar. Take this castle nut. Take a mallet. I'm putting the castle nut back on. Got it. So this is the important part. Beginning in the upright position. You want to count the amount of times that it takes to twist this off. You'll be screwing your tie rod in just as many times. Looks like it doesn't want to move. Got it to move. From the upright position. Oops, other way. From the upright position. 1, 2, 3. 16, 17. 17. Next, we're going to remove this boot. The next clamp is a little like this one, further in there. So I ended up using a needle nose pliers and stuck it in there and just kind of twisted. I want to show you how we're getting off the inner tie rod end. I'm going to reach in and put in this 40mm here. So the adapter will be in the car like that. This part will go in. We'll use this little thing, seal it. And then on this end, I'll use a ratchet in this hole to undo it. My adapter is in there. Put the tube in. Locking it in. You can see that it's situated on the flat parts. Using my adapter and my 3/8 part, my 3/8 breaker bar. easy than it did on the other side.
This is the new inner tie rod we're installing.
I'm going to put some thread lock on this guy. I'm going to load it. So I have it all loaded up here and locked in. I'm gonna screw it in until I can't anymore. The torque rating I'm using is 60 foot-pounds. And that means that you've hit the click. And that one was just a check. Here comes the part with the boot. I'm going to use zip ties for this part for now. And this clip that came with the kit for this side. Once you've got the boot on, stick this shit around it. I'm gonna crimp on this side of the boot. It's not moving at all. Then we're going to take this back on. Screw it all the way. Here's the new tie rod end. There's already grease inside of this. Remember the amount of times we screwed it in? 1, 2, 14, 15, 16, 17. There it goes. Move this bolt back here. It's about right. I'm gonna get this professionally aligned, so not too worried. Go ahead, screw this guy on. This is starting to spin, so I'm gonna hold it in place with one of these and fasten it over here. I don't have a torque rating for this, so I kind of just did it a lot. It's time to put the wheels back on, and we're done. Take out your supports. Lower your car. Gonna do this one in starfish pattern. So I do this one, then 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 this one.